How long does the process normally take?
Well, we may give ourselves targets, I mean, I must emphasize, when we started the office, we thought, let's say 15 working days and see how it goes. And in some, we are able to do so, and some matters may be very complex in nature. So it's very difficult at this stage, to can tell the taxpayer it will take this much. And when you establish an office, you establish with something in mind. You'll make mistakes somewhere you actually later on you get it right. We still have those teething problems. In some instances, we'll make a recommendation, and that recommendation may well be implemented by SARS within few days. But some recommendations you make, and you find that SARS may not have answers.
Yes.
And it may depend on obtaining a legal opinion from counsel, and that takes a while. So it really differs. Some matters may be very quick, maybe a matter of days, 3 days, 4 days, 15 days, 10 days. Some matters may take as long as 3 months or even 4 months.
So it is case specific?
It's case specific, depends on the complexity of the matter.
I know that during the natural course of this process, some of the cases may be rejected by the tax ombud. Now, obviously, there are some misconceptions that the general public out there have. You might want to share on some of those cases and what circumstances and what are those misconceptions perhaps that exist out there that you've encountered.
Okay. First, maybe going back to the process that we follow. If a complaint comes to us, we'll first have to check whether it falls within our mandate or not. If it does not fall within our mandate, we'll tell the taxpayer straight away. It does not fall within our mandate. We are a statutory body. We are only limited to the service procedural administrative complaints. Now, then it's the end of the matter. And then the other thing is that sometimes it may fall within our mandate, but the question is, has the person exhausted the SARS internal processes?
Yes.
Now, where the person has not exhausted the SARS internal processes, and as I've said before, that a person, if in that case, the person has to provide compelling circumstances.
Yes.
And if there are no compelling circumstances, we have to reject it. Maybe it's a very harsh word to use. I'd like a milder word. Perhaps we should be parking it and saying to the taxpayer, yes, the matter falls within our mandate, but you have not exhausted these internal processes and you have not provided us with compelling circumstances. Either the taxpayer can come back to us and tell us it's got compelling circumstances, or can try to exhaust the SARS internal processes first, in which case they must come back to us if SARS still has not resolved the matter. So sometimes matters that are coming to us prematurely, we'll say, well, look, first go and exhaust the SARS internal processes. And that is most of the time some of the issues. Now, we can't talk about the mandate without talking about the limitations of the mandate.
Yes.
Because that leads to a lot of rejections. A person has to check whether the complaint whether it falls within the limitations, because the limitations are the objections and appeals. We cannot deal with the merits of the objections and appeals. It's one of the limitations. So that may result in a matter being rejected. Okay. You find a lot of people coming to say, I don't agree with this assessment. Now, by so doing, you're saying you really would be required to object to the assessment. So some people think that any issue they have, they can come to the office of the tax ombud. So they never check whether it falls within the limitations or not. So that's where the problem lies. So a matter that is before court also is
Yeah.
one of the limitations. And somebody, for example, says, no, I don't agree with this section. We cannot deal with that. It falls within our limitation. So you may find these are the issues that really require a lot of education, a lot of understanding, and some people really want to replace the objection and appeals route
Yes.
with the office of the tax ombud.
Yes.
And there's a very serious danger in that, because when it comes to objections and appeals, there are time frames. If you throw in a complaint with us, which is you're supposed to object to, you run the risk of running out of time.
Yes.
When by the time we come back to you and say, no, it does not fall within our mandate.
That window has closed
That
on
window
the other
has
side.
closed. So people really need to be making sure that if it's a matter that they can object to, they must do so. And because then in the process they are protecting themselves and they are able to avoid running the risk of being out of time.